Let's talk milk, the magic of homogenization. Hey there, you've already got a fantastic grasp on this. Homogenization is a purely physical workout for milk, and the whole point is to turn that unstable raw milk, the kind where the cream separates, into a smooth, uniform product that stays mixed on your shelf. Think of it this way. We're taking the big, chunky milk fat globules, and using nothing but sheer mechanical force, we're shattering them into tiny microscopic droplets. We want them so small, like 1 or 2 micrometers, that they can't possibly float to the top anymore. Why does this work? The droplets become so tiny that the random jiggling of molecules around them, called Brownian motion, is actually stronger than gravity. They just float indefinitely. Once they shatter, the available milk proteins, mostly casein, instantly rush in and form a protective, stable coating around each new tiny fat droplet. This new coating is the emulsifying membrane, and it's what keeps the fat from clumping back together. It all boils down to a few critical steps and a powerful machine. Step 1. Getting the milk ready. Heating and balancing. Before the milk ever sees the big machine, it needs to be prepped. This is the setup phase, like getting your ingredients ready for cooking. First, standardization. We have to make sure the fat content is exactly right. If we're making 2% milk, we use a centrifugal separator to pull the milk apart into skim milk and cream, and then we blend them back together in the precise ratio for a 2% product. This ensures the final product meets its specific label claim. Second, warming it up next. We heat the milk typically to about 60 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius. This warmth is absolutely essential because it makes the milk fat fully liquid. You can't shatter a solid piece of fat effectively, right? If the fat isn't liquid, the pump and valve just can't do their job correctly. The heat preps the milk proteins to be perfect coating material for those future tiny fat droplets, activating them to form the stable membrane later on. It serves as the initial step for pasteurization, making the milk safer. Now we have a warm, perfectly balanced batch of liquid milk ready for the pressure. Step 2 and 3, high pressure, high action, the homogenizer. This is the main event. The preheated milk gets pumped into the high-pressure section of the homogenizer machine. This pump is a beast. It generates massive controlled pressure, usually between 1,500 and 3,000 psi. That's dozens of times the pressure in your car tires. This pump forces the milk through the narrowest part of the entire system, the homogenizing valve or gap. This tiny opening is the point of no return. The fat gets shredded. When the milk, now under thousands of psi of pressure, hits that valve, it's a tiny, violent explosion. The large fat globules are absolutely destroyed by a trifecta of simultaneous mechanical forces. Cavitation. As the milk exits the high-pressure zone and hits a much lower pressure, little vapor bubbles form and then instantly implode. The intense localized shock waves from these microscopic explosions physically tear the fat globules apart. Shear stress and turbulence, imagine water screaming through a tiny crack. The immense speed and friction created by the liquid accelerating and rubbing against the valve surfaces create a strong shearing force that pulls and stretches the soft fat until it fragments. Impingement. Right after the gap, the milk stream often smashes against a hard impact ring or surface. This final rapid physical collision delivers a last blow, ensuring every remaining chunk of fat is properly shattered. The result is a fluid that has instantaneously gone from a crude, unstable mix to a fine, stable emulsion. Step 4, the second stage, fine-tuning stability. Most commercial dairies don't stop after just one pass. They use a 2-stage system to guarantee stability. The milk has now been through the super high-pressure first stage and the fat is tiny. However, those new tiny fat droplets might be a little sticky or loosely clumped together because the protein coating isn't quite perfect yet. This clumping is called fat globule clustering. So the milk immediately passes through a second stage valve at a much lower pressure, usually around 300 to 500 psi. This stage isn't meant to break the fat further, but to declump, break apart any loose clusters of those newly formed sticky fat globules, physically separating them. Recoat. Give the available milk proteins, the casein micelles, a final chance to completely and uniformly wrap around every single fat droplet, finalizing that stable emulsifying membrane. The second, gentler pass is the key to ensuring the milk remains perfectly uniform and stable throughout its entire shelf life. Step 5. Final cool down and packaging. Because all that pressure and friction from the machinery created a lot of heat, the final crucial step is to cool the milk down instantly. We route it through a powerful plate heat exchanger to drop that temperature right back down to around 4 degrees Celsius. The cooled, stable, and uniformly mixed milk is then sent to the filler for packaging, ready to be shipped out. And that's it. The entire process relies solely on the power of mechanical forces, pressure, shear, turbulence, and impact to permanently alter the physical structure of the milk fat, creating the uniform product we know as homogenized dairy.